Philippine art has gone through a long history of colonization. Perhaps what shapes art today are the underlying concepts that existed throughout time. Good morning, everyone. I am Sergey Balili, and I will discuss Philippine art during the Spanish colonial period. The year 1521 marks the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. When the Spaniards came to the Philippines, they used art to spread the Catholic religion. With communication as a barrier, the friars employed images to illustrate Catholicism's doctrines and to narrate the narrative of Christ's life and passion. Through this, they successfully propagated the Catholic religion both with educated and uneducated people. Religious paintings, sculptures, literature, music, dance, and theater all had role in imparting Catholic ideas in the hearts and minds of the early Filipinos. To conclude, the main objective of the Spanish colonization is to spread the doctrine of the Catholic faith into the early Filipinos, and they utilize art for this objective. There are indeed various art forms that emerged during the Spanish colonial period. However, this discussion will only focus on four art forms that were introduced, namely painting, sculpture, architecture, and printing. First, painting. For the first centuries of the Spanish colonization, painting was limited to religious icons. Portraits of saints and of the Holy Family became a familiar sight in churches. Other subject matters include the Passion of Christ, the Via Crucis, the Crucifixion, portrayal of heaven, purgatory, and hell. During the early years of the Spanish occupation, painting was done solely for churches and religious purposes. It was also utilized for propaganda at times. The image that you see on the lower right side of the screen is the painting of Joseph Luciano Dance, one of the earliest recorded painter in the Philippine art history. The painting was entitled Langit Lupa at Impierno. It is a three-level painting that shows the Holy Trinity, Mary, the Mother of Christ, saints, the seven blessed sacraments, and Macabra, the fiction of hell. It is in the church in Paete, Laguna. I said, painting during the Spanish colonial period was not only done for religious purposes, it was also used for propaganda. And two of the most famous paintings during this time, which were done for propaganda, are the Spolarium of Juan Luna, which depicted the dying gladiators. Luna presented the painting in the Exposición Nacional de Bellas Artes in Madrid in 1884, where it won a gold medal. Another one is the Christian virgins exposed to the populace of Felix Hidalgo. The painting portrays two scantily clothed Christian female slaves being mocked by a group of boorish Roman male onlookers. The painting won a silver medal during the 1884 Exposición General de Bellas Artes in Madrid, Spain. Next is sculpture. Carving, which began in pre-Hispanic times with the creation of anito, was channeled by friars toward the creation of santos, or a sculpture of saints. These santos were typically used for church, altars, and retablos. A retablo is a divisional painting, especially a small popular or folk art, one using iconography derived from traditional Catholic art. The carving of Santos is strictly supervised by the church authorities because of the fear that the natives might include pagan elements into the prescribed iconography of the church. When it comes to sculpture, there are two famous sculptors in the Spanish period. First is Juan de los Santos, a 17th century sacristan, sculptor, and silversmith from San Pablo, Laguna. He is the earliest recorded sculptor in the Philippines. A handful of his pieces are still on display at the San Agustin Convent Museum. The other one is Mariano Madriñan, who won a gold medal in the 1883 Amsterdam Exposition for his Mater Dolorosa or Sorrowful Mother. Architecture. During 330 years of Spanish colonization, Philippine architecture was dominated by Spanish influences. The Augustinian friars, along with other religious orders, built many grand churches and cathedrals all over the Philippine Islands. The image that you see in the upper right corner of the screen is the Paway Church in Ilocos Norte. It is one of the most notable examples of churches that were built during the Spanish colonial period. This one-of-a-kind piece of Filipino architecture known as Filipino Baroque from the Spanish era has been added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. Also, during this period, the traditional Filipino bahay na bato style for large houses emerged. These were large houses built of stone and wood combining Filipino, Spanish, and Chinese style elements. One of the examples is the one that you see on the left side of the screen. Printing. The engraving was introduced in the 1950s by the Spanish colonizers. In 1593, the Dominicans published the La Doctrina Cristiana en la Lingua Española e Tagala, or the Christian Doctrine in the Spanish and Tagalog language. It was the first book printed in the country. On it was a woodcut engraving of Saint Dominic by Juan de Vera, a Chinese convert. Nicolas Bagay and Francisco Suarez are two of the most notable engravers during the Spanish colonial period. These two collaborated to depict landscapes, genera, scenes, and flora and fauna on the borders of maps commissioned by Father Maurilio Velarde in 1733. The two also illustrated the Passion written by Gaspar Aquino de Belen entitled Mahal na Pasyon ni Jesucristong Panginoon natin na Tola, or the Holy Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ in verse. If you wish to know more information about the topic, you can go visit these links and it will bring you to the sites where I gathered the information I presented to you today. So that's all. I hope you have learned something. Thank you.